Alright, I want to talk about I just picked up a new project to work on. This will be the next big project after I get this 3-cube saw done, because I still don't have a big chainsaw chassis to run yet. I'm working on getting one to build, but I saw this a couple days ago and I just had to have it for some reason. It's a little something I've been wanting to do. It'll be a good project though. Some of y'all might recognize this. Some of y'all might not. Give you a better look. Initial glance, it looks like a blaster engine. And it does look like a blaster engine, but I don't know if you can see here. 487 cc. This is a YZ490 engine. And you're probably asking, this doesn't have anything to do with chainsaws. Well, not yet, it doesn't. If you look at this thing, it is just beat to pieces. I mean, about every flange on this thing is broke. That case is busted. It's got silicone all over it. There's something missing in the case. I mean, about every mount on it's busted. The sleeve through this swing arm bushing is just, this thing's just shit. It's been beat to hell. I mean, look at the mount. The exhaust flange is ugly. Chunks missing out of the cases everywhere you look. So this motor ain't really even, I mean, sprocket's welded, nuts welded on the sprocket. The shift shaft's bent and broken off. There's that old sleeve busted. So this thing, I mean, these cases are junk. At least most of them. But for what I'm going to do with this, these cases will be fine. I'm going to turn this into a bike saw. Basically, I'm going to come in here and cut the transmission off of it. And all I'll have left is crankcase. So, if this stuff bothers anything, I can weld this up. I do have to keep this part, because I need at least a stator and magneto of some sort. So I'll have to keep some of that, but basically I'm gonna split this thing and cut it right behind the crankcase and get rid of the transmission completely. And we'll just be left with all this, and then we'll cut all these fins off the head. I'm gonna trim this thing down as much as possible, make it as lightweight as possible, because you have to pick it up, obviously. These things usually weigh about 60 pounds whenever they're fully dressed with a bar and chain and fuel and oil and all that, so they're definitely not light by any way, shape, or form. This motor does need some work. I picked it up cheap. It needs a piston first and foremost. Here is the piston. This thing is damn near 3.5 inches in diameter. I mean, it is a monster. You can see it's broke. This is a Wiseco piston. This is the first oversize. It's like a 0.5 millimeter oversize. Everything goes well. There's a lot of transfer in the cylinder. I'll show you the cylinder. There's the head. This is a newer, I think this is an 85 and up motor, because it has 7 head bolts instead of 6 like the earlier ones. And I hadn't checked the transmission yet, but I'm pretty sure this one has a 5-speed gearbox, which would also be an indicator it's a later one. The earlier ones are 4-speed. There's everything. It is not locked up. It's dirty in there, but everything looks to be okay. Look at the size of that crank. Monster. These ports are huge. this exhaust port out. It's a regular screwdriver, you know, normal. Just a Mac screwdriver, just a regular. Look at this thing. Here it is next to the transfer port. It's massive. Intake, the boost port, looks like. Yeah. But yeah. Pretty excited about this one. This is going to be kind of a probably longer term project. Something I'll just be piddling with, you know, in the meantime. I'm sure that Bill Hopper will get in on this too. I done been talking to him about it, and I think he's pretty excited about it too. We just play. We've been kind of talking about building a bike saw, and this thing popped up, and I was like, well, that one might be a good one that we can actually afford. We couldn't afford no CR500 motor. Those things bring like just a case half on one of them is well over $1,000 for a bare case half, so getting into big money in them things. Don't know that we'll be using this carb. We might go to a diaphragm style carb rather than this, because these require, you have to actually change the jetting in these to tune them. Whereas I think if we go to a diaphragm, like off of a jet ski or something like that, I think we can have 2 screws on our carbs that we can tune it that way. You know, like more like we're used to, and it's a little less work too to do it that way. So that's probably what we'll go to. I gotta clean the cylinder up, and I need these heads need a little bit of modifying. I'm probably gonna O-ring this head too and get rid of that copper head gasket, because they just like to leak. And then this head might already been, I was reading that the angle of this chamfer right there needs to be softened some. Makes these things ping, because these big 2-strokes like this thing does not have a balance shaft in it. These things vibrate bad, and vibrating is a big problem with these. So we're going to try to do everything we can to keep the vibration to a minimum. Even though it's only a few cuts, the vibration can upset the chassis and want to throw the chain or break the chain or something like that. This cylinder has a lot of transfer in it and a little bit of rust, but I think it's going to clean up fine. This is an iron sleeve, so we can bore it ourselves and hone it ourselves. We don't have to have it plated or anything, because it is just, I'm sure you can see it there. See the sleeve? Iron sleeve. And it was only one oversized. I think somebody might have put an oversized piston in it, and it wasn't ever bored, so that might be why that piston stuck up like that, because I measured it, and it measures closer to standard bore than it does to oversized. And I know there's some stuff on it, but we'll see. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you all that. Another project coming up. Probably be working on that this summer. Gonna try to have this thing ripping by whenever we do hopper stock this fall. We'll have this thing going by then for sure. We about have to, because we want to play with it. We're already starting the parts gather and process, and I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up and split down and everything prepped whenever I get done with my 3-cube saw. So anyway, I thought I'd come on here and tell y'all about that little project, and I'll have some more 3-cube content soon. I've just been working on it. I kind of took a little break from it for a few days, so I'm getting back on it now, and I'm gonna push through that and get it done. It's getting close, so I'll have some stuff to post up on it. Alright, well, y'all have a good one.